I'm sure if you grew up in a small town like me, there was stories about a lake, abandoned building, or just the woods in general. They were designed to scare young kids from going into them at night or early morning. Stories made to keep them safe. I bet, though, as you grew older, you thought to yourself, those stories were just for kids. I'm sure old enough for them not to apply to me. So you choose to brush off the story's warning. You luckily turned out fine. It was just a kid story after all. What if I told you not everyone is as lucky? In the small town where I grew up, we were always told to stay out of the woods as kids. The adults would say that you never want to risk running into the white rabbit. The story was that if you are in the woods when it's dark and you're unlucky, you can run into a white rabbit. Seeing it means you were marked by her. No one really knew what she exactly was nor her name. She was described as a pale young-looking woman with hair always covering her face as she sang and danced through the woods. You would see her 3 times before you would vanish, leaving nothing behind. You'd just be gone. That story really scared me. As a kid, it really worked until I was 15. It came up again, school. My friends and I joked around about as we didn't believe it ourselves. A group of girls overheard us and dared us to prove it. Mike just laughed and David said, "We don't have to prove anything to you. Believe what you want. I don't say anything at first." But one of the girls was Hannah, who I had a big crush on at the time. So I took the guys to the side and said, "Imagine how cool we would be if we do this." And to disprove the legend, Mike said, "I'm not sure if I could. You know how my parents are." I reply, "It's just one night. Tell them that you're spending the night at my place." David said, "Okay, but how do we prove that we actually did it?" I replied, "We have phones, don't we? We can use Snapchat's location feature. They would be able to see our location." They both agreed to do it. We made a plan. Mike was going to bring drinks and snakes. I was going to bring bear spray and flashlights as we didn't want to run our phone's battery down. David was going to bring portable chargers, chairs, and blankets. We made the plan for that Friday the planned day. Me and Mike headed to the woods by my place to find a good spot to set everything up for later that night. We found a good spot by the lake a little ways in. At lunch that day, the girls gave us their snap and said, "Good luck, see you at noon tomorrow." Me, Mike, and Dave all responded to "see you then." After school that the plan went into action. After my parents went out for their date night, we got everything and set up. I texted Hannah that we were all set up. I even sent her a selfie with everything in the background. She sent a photo of her and her friends having a sleepover. They had candy, drinks, chips, and pizza. I made a comment on how I wish I was there. She responded with, "I wish you were here too." For the first few hours, nothing really happened. Mike made some burgers over the fire that actually turned out really good. We cracked a few dried-out Peppy RS and skipped some rocks. I thought it was going to be one boring night. That's when we heard singing. Mike shouted, "Hello, who are you?" The singer didn't stop, but their voice slowly faded away. We all looked at each other. David spoke up. They were probably someone on a late-night walk with headphones on. Both me and Mike nodded in agreement. Even though I wanted to stay up for all the night, I grew more and more tired. I sat in my chair with my blanket on for warmth. My eyes closed and I was out. David shocked me awake, joyfully says, "Oh man, you missed it because you were asleep." "Missed what?" I asked. "You missed it. They video called. Right as they did, a white rabbit showed up. We all went crazy about it. I'm shocked that we didn't wake you with our yelling. At first I thought he was pulling my leg, but he showed me the video Mike took as he was on call. There it was, a white rabbit. What are the odds that only part one found weird was that everyone was cheering and yet there I was in the background of the video asleep. I have always been a light sleeper, so how did none of that wake me? I wound up just brushing it off as my body just needed the sleep. Nothing else happened that night. I called Hannah. We talked till we both fell asleep. The next day, we meet the girls at Hannah's house. We all cheered. We all were happy. Me, Mike, and David were happy because we proved that it was nothing but a myth. I was happy to be with Hannah. We didn't really talk about it after that. I wound up telling Hannah how I felt, and well, she felt the same. Mike and David felt like kings. We would all hang out. It was the best time of my life. That's when it happened. It was a Monday. David stopped me in the halls. He said, "Mike has moved away." I asked why. He said, "Well, I don't know for sure, but there's a rumor going around that his dad owed money to some bad people and wasn't able to pay it. So they fled town." I didn't know how to respond. A part of me was thinking, was it my fault? Was the story true? If so, then why didn't he say he saw the lady? I told him I needed some space. David understood and said, "Let me know if you need to talk." Then he walked away. No one really talked about him after that. He became someone whom, if you brought up, the adults would give you a worried, sad look. Then just talk about something else, like you never brought him up in the first place. In the summer that year, David moved away. We kept in touch, though. He mainly used Instagram. He posted pictures of places around his new town, even of some abandoned buildings in the woods. He started gaining more and more followers. He was really doing well for himself. We met up to times that summer. Those days were a lot of fun. When school came that fall, we didn't talk as much as we were busy. It was just a few check-ins here and there. I also would watch the videos he made. They were creepy at times, but mostly funny. Time passed. We messaged less and less, though I still watch his videos. We were in grade 12. I sent him a message just checking in. It was left unread for 2 days, which sadly wasn't out of the ordinary. One night when my dad was watching TV, David appeared on the news. He had been missing for 2 weeks. No one knew where he went. He vanished after leaving a party, headed home. There's still a search party checking all surrounding areas. Any information will help. I wish I could do something, but I couldn't. I went over to Hannah's apartment. She had got just the summer before. I was going to move in with her in about 2 weeks. I told her what I knew. I couldn't keep it together. I had just lost another friend, another person I never had the chance to say goodbye to. David's disappearance hit me hard than I would have thought. I cried in Hannah's lap well into the night. I wound up staying the night. Hannah helped me get my mind off of things. The next day after breakfast, I decided to rewatch some of David's videos. That's when I saw it, and a video over a year prior. The lady with the long hair in the background of one of his shots. Then again 6 months after that. I'd bet anything the last time he saw her was the night of the party. I started thinking, when is she going to come for me? Is there any way to stop her? I was shaking. Anna saw me at the computer desk and came over, faced off.